So many people are saying so many things. So MadMan presents what the are they saying? Damn man, have you looked at Jim Carrey? That guy has lost it. He's gone mad. That talking nonsense, man. He's talking whatever he likes. Oh man, Jim Carrey has gone mad. Now in this video today, I'm going to analyze if Jim Carrey has actually gone mad or he's just another madman like me. And obviously, I'm the one who is analyzing it. So it goes without saying that I'm analyzing it with my concept of what is right. Now I'm going to analyze it in 3 different steps. And I think these are the most important turning points in the life of someone who is a seeker or someone who is a madman like me or someone like Jim Carrey. Now let's get started. So the first step, the first biggest turning point is noticing that this is not it. This is not it. Now look at this quote from Jim Carrey. He says, I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything that they ever dreamed of so they can see that's not the answer. Now if you look at it, we have been trained to achieve something by the society. We are running the race of achieving something. Now how does it function? So basically, you want something. You spend enough time, money, effort, whatever to achieve it. There's a certain amount of distance to travel. Now when you achieve it, seems like you're happy for a while. Just for a while. And that while could be a few days, a month, a few months, a year, whatever. Seems like you're happy for a while. And then again, you have another dream that you want to achieve. But we forget the basic thing. That is the very dream that we are creating is being created by the memories, by the past that is already in us. We create the dream with the past and we even create the framework of what it would be if we achieve that dream. And after we achieve it, we try to fit in the framework that we initially created. So basically, if you look at it, you're still within the cycle of the past, the cycle of the same memory that's in function. But most people unfortunately fail to recognize this. I mean, just look at the last 5 things you wanted to achieve. You wanted something, you achieved it, it wasn't it. You wanted another thing, you achieved it, it wasn't it. And it just goes like that. And for most people, this happens until they are dead. Or the basic, so simple, the simplest of things that we fail to recognize is what we're actually looking is the satisfaction, is the happiness in us. See, buying a house is not the end goal. Having a lot of money is not the end goal, right? Having a beautiful car is not the end goal. The end goal is the satisfaction, the happiness you get after having the house, after having the car, after having whatever it is that you're trying to have. That is the end goal. Don't fool yourself that the end goal is the object itself. No, the end goal is the feeling that you feel after you receive those things. But we fail to recognize it, and most fail to recognize it. I don't know if you know this, but people from West are turning spiritual more than people from the East. Now, obviously, spirituality is more advanced in the East, but even then, people from West are going to the East to explore spirituality, and people in the East don't care. Now, the reason is absolutely simple. Now, let me take an example of my country. Now, it is very rare to have a car in your house. Only rich people have a car, right? It is a symbol of status to have an iPhone, to have an Apple product. We are just transitioning from houses made by soil to concrete houses. The average income of a family is probably 5 to 600 US dollars a month, right? So basically we have a lot to achieve. Because we've seen a lot, but we haven't experienced it. Now, naturally, when we come to the West, when we come to the country like United States, you see that everything you ever dreamt of is all there. It's almost like a dog is unleashed in a room full of food, room full of dog food or whatever, right? So basically you have a lot to achieve and you spend your entire life achieving that, thinking that you've reached somewhere. But on the other side, most people from the West, I mean, they've seen it all, right? They've seen it all. They all had a car, they had good education, they were making good money and all those things. So they don't have anything more to achieve because it is your memory that creates the dream for you. And since you haven't seen anything better than something that you've already seen, there's nothing more to achieve. Now, naturally, the question arises, is this it? Is this it? And then your searching begins. So Krishna from Bhagavad Gita was supposed to have said this: out of 1,000 people, there is only one seeker. So out of 1,000 people, only one questions, what the fuck is all this? Is this it? And out of those 1,000 seekers, only one knows the truth in principle. So basically, if you have such questions, if you're tired of running the rat race, if you're tired of chasing something, if you're tired of creating the concept of happiness and then chasing it, not realizing that it is your own memory that is creating the dream and it is your own framework of what happiness is. If you realize that, then you're that one seeker out of thousands of people. Now, let's get to the second point. And the second point is realizing that you don't exist. Now look at this video first.
How's life? Everything good?
You know, it's so beautiful. It really is, especially when I'm absent from it.
You feel like you're separated from the rest of the world and what's going on?
No, not separated at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part.
Now what Jim Carrey says is, it's so beautiful, especially when I'm absent from it. Jim Carrey was a great character and I was lucky to get the part. See? So he has realized that Jim Carrey was a made-up character. Jim Carrey was a made-up character that was created by the society that he was brought up in. The name was given to him. The kind of person that he thought he was given to him by the society, by the conditioning that he was brought up in, and by the genes that he received from his parents. So in all these, he had nothing to contribute. He had no control over it, right? But all of us think that this character Anis exists. This character John, whatever you are, exists, right? You have your likes, you have your dislikes, whatever it is. We think it exists. So that is the second biggest turning point for a seeker, for someone like Jim Carrey, for someone like me, for anyone who is on the spiritual path, for anyone who is seeking the truth. And that realization is that it is a made-up character. And you, as you know it, the kind of person you are, the kind of personality that you are, you, as you know it, does not exist. If you want to know more about this, you can check out my second video, which is Who the Fuck You Are, where I basically tried to analyze that whatever you think you are must have come at some point in time. So what were you before that? Basically pointing to the direction that it is all a made-up character. Just like Jim Carrey says here. Jim Carrey was a great character and I was lucky to get the part. And let me say this. Anis was a great character and I was lucky to get the part. Oh man, I'm liking it today. So now, let's get to the third biggest turning point. And that is, you are the universe.
But I don't think of that as me anymore.
You don't?
Not
Not at
really.
all?
Not really, no. I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world, and now I feel like the world and the universe experiencing a guy.
Now this is this is really confusing, right? Because the concept of universe that we have is different from the universe that is being talked by all these spiritual people and all those things. Why? The reason is very simple. Because all the words that we have, all the words that we have are outward bound. It is to point to something, right? It is for the five senses. And mostly what these spiritual people are talking about is something that is experienced inward, something that cannot be seen. But they have to communicate it to the other people. So they have to use the word that is mostly used for something that is experienced by the five senses. So it is bound to be misunderstood. But despite that, I'm using the word universe. So the third biggest turning point, you are the universe. Or you are the basic energy that is functioning through each and every living organism. Now, just to give you a quick clarification, I'm going to use the example that I've used in the other video, which is electricity is the basic source, the basic energy that functions through all electrical appliances, and all of us individuals are electrical appliances. And the misconception happens because we as electrical appliances think that every action happening through the electrical appliance is done by the electrical appliance itself, without realizing that the basic energy, that is electricity, is being functioned through each and every electrical appliance. Now when the character breaks, just like Jim Carrey says, when the character breaks, when the realization happens that character was just a made up character, microwave was just a made up name that was given to him, but the basic functioning was through the electricity. Now when that realization happens, then the disappearance of the character will naturally bring you to the realization that you are the basic source that is functioning through each and every electrical appliance. But it is very simple here. What Jim Carrey says is, I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world. Now basically we think we are the character who are looking, smelling, hearing, feeling, all those sensations. So we think we are the character who are experiencing everything in the world. But when the character is not there, what is left? See, I'll give you an example. So whatever you're looking at, just look at it. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Because we think that it is the character that is Anish, it is the character that is John, it is the character, whatever you are. That character is responsible for seeing it. But let me tell you, no, you are not seeing it. Even in the absence of the character, the seeing happens. So basically there is no one seeing it. It is just the light that is reflecting onto your eyes and whatever science it is behind it. But what I'm trying to say is the body is capable of seeing it. The body sees it. The seeing happens. When the electricity passes through the television, the whatever kind of images that come up in the television, that happens. It is not the television that is producing the images. So in the same manner, seeing happens, eating happens, watching happens, walking happens, but there is no one walking. There is only the dance, there is no dancer. Only happening and no one making it happen. There is only creation and no creator. So when that realization happens, then naturally you are not the character that is experiencing world around you, but in the absence of that character, you are the basic source or basic energy or life that is being lived through this body, which is the same for each and every individual. So the conclusion is, Jim Carrey has not lost his mind. He's not a mad guy like most people like to think he is. He is that one seeker out of thousands of people who is seeking the truth. Now, having said that, I really enjoyed the talk today. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your love and support. Now, I know most people are not interested in these things, but I'm looking for that one out of 1,000. I'm looking for that one seeker out of 1,000 who might find something helpful in my video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you.